With her, I'm going to keep going back and forth quite a bit with stuff. I'm not just going to focus on one thing and do it and do it and do it and then move on. With her, it's going to help to move back and forth, up and down, and not get too over-focused on one area, because she's very tight in her pole and upper neck. And so if what I want to do is just get her to keep her awareness on it in a way that she can't brace against it, get a tiny bit of movement, and then move on, and then come back to it again.
So we were at 12 noon.
Okay. 12 noon, we're officially starting. I've been doing a little bit on Danny here to get her to relax. And I'll go over what I was talking about for those of you that weren't here earlier. Oh, by the way, hi. This is Danny. She's a little thoroughbred mare, 13. She does eventing. She's pretty tight in her pole and upper neck, and she's had issues behind before, the owner said. At one point, she was just not quite right behind, so something could have happened back there. But the pole and the atlas and the sacrum go together. You know, when there's tension in the pole and atlas, there's tension in the sacrum. As I release tension in her pole up here, I've done a little lateral flexion and a little chin lifts, and I'm going to go back and do all of these again. But when I step back to see what she has to say, I'm not just looking at her face. She starts to wobble a little bit behind as she releases tension in the sacrum from the pole. From releasing tension in the pole, you'll see them relax their hind legs back and forth. Come here, we're going to come up and do a little more lateral flexion. It's okay, when they do that, just let them, and then when they stop, go ahead and put your hand on. Relax both hands, and give her a tiny wiggle here. And soften, come down, do a tiny wiggle here. Soften, come down. It's not the amount of movement, it's the amount of relaxation that gets the release. Right down here at her lower neck, she's a little uncomfortable, so I'll soften. And I'll move with her, and I'll use my forearm here to ask her not to walk into me. And when I ask her not to, I just ask and soften. I don't push on her and keep pushing, because then they'll start to, don't give her the chance to push back. Just give her a little signal and then soften. Good girl. Okay, we're going to come up here through these muscles. Back of my hand, maybe doing grape. Work my way up here. You can see the tension here in her upper neck here. You can see that. So I'm going to soften. I got to keep her somewhere aiming towards the camera. Can you step up here a little bit? Good girl. Oh, that's a good spot. Remember, there's no pressure on the nose. You can say no, yes, or you can move her, but you can't put pressure and keep the pressure on. If I say no, like step back, soften right there the minute she does it. Don't keep pushing. See, and she relaxed when I did that. Come on up here, and we're just going to get a little movement through this up here. Good girl. And I mentioned earlier I did a tiny bit of this when she first got in here. And then she threw her head and heard a pop. So as the muscles relax and the connective tissue around a joint, or a junction, you get the muscles and the connective tissue to relax, and then when they move through the range of motion, it'll often give a popping noise, because that means there's space opening up in the joint. So that's a good thing. Down in here, she's tight. Soften and wiggle. Soften, wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften, wiggle. Come up here under the throat latch. Wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften, wiggle, soften. There we go. So she's tightening her chin down like this, so coming up here under the throat latch is a good thing. She's releasing up under here. I'm going to do a tongue release here in a second. Come on back up the neck again. Good girl. Let her feel that. Says what? Yeah, if we have any questions.
All right, so you're going to have to tell them back because they can't hear me.
Okay.
So when the pole is tense, that even touching a distance triggers great unrest, does it make sense to start under the tail points?
Yeah, so So the question is, if you, even putting your hand out here and pointing to the pole, if it triggers that behavior, is it good to start under the tail points or somewhere else? And the answer to that is yes. That's one of the, we don't like rules, but one of the principles is you start where it's easier for the horse. So if even doing this is way too much for the horse, go somewhere else. Under the tail point, scapular release is a good thing to do. Because that releases, when the scapula release a lot of endorphins in their system for some reason, and they start to relax. But going to the hind end and starting under the tail points would be a good thing to do. I'll talk about other things you can do. See, but let me point out, every time I release tension in her, we have a chicken who wants to get into her box. Every time you get a release of tension in the pole, if you get a wobbling behind like she's giving us, that's a good sign. So it means that this is working. So as mentally tense as she is, she's still wobbling behind because the sacrum relaxes. Tension on the sacrum relaxes when tension on the pole and atlas relaxes. So I was going to say another thing you can do, starting under the tail would be a good idea because you're releasing the sacrum to release tension in the atlas. Another way you can handle that is try to go to the side and find the side that's easiest for the horse. And another thing you can do is rather than start at the pole, I'm going to just take her halter here and just let her throw her head. Don't fight her. Just let her do it. When she realizes I'm not limiting her, she'll stop fussing. But I can start down here, and wiggle your way gently up. Is another way to deal with that when they're extremely tight in the pole. Start where it's easier for the horse. That's down here. And if I get up here and it gets too uncomfortable, see I got a little bit of blinking there, so I'm going to gently wiggle here, go back down again, work my way back up. So there's different ways to go at this when they're so extremely tight in the pole. And it's go where it's easier and work your way into where it's more comfortable. So starting at the lower neck.